Hello, fellow Pops. I'm Dr. F. Scott Field, and I'm bringing you a message from our sponsor at Ice Shaker. My diet's always been a little bit messed up most of my life, and I recently started trying to take back control of my health. And one of the issues my doctor pointed out was that I needed to make an increase in my protein intake. Now, I can't eat chicken breasts all day, every day, so protein shakes and powders have become a big help. Ice Shaker and its built-in removable agitator is an amazing product. They come in a bunch of sizes and colors, and you can even get inscriptions and logos on them. They're stainless steel, double wall insulated, and hold ice for 30 plus hours. If you're interested in purchasing one, you can click on the link in our show notes. Or if you're interested in selling them for your business and making commission, and let's be honest, if you're listening to the Professors of Profit vlogcast and you can consider yourself a pop or a professor of profit, you're likely interested in selling these as a side hustle. You can click on that link in the show notes as well. Or you can reach out to me directly on social media. I'm pretty available there. I love Ice Shaker, and I'm betting you, your patients, and your clients will too. Ice Shaker, let's shake things up. Now let's start the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Professors of Profit vlogcast. I'm your host, Dr. F. Scott Field. I've got with me today somebody who I've known for quite some time, and I've been able to kind of watch his journey from afar, and I'm super excited to catch back up with him. David Cartolano. David, how the heck are you, man?
Hey man, I'm doing great. Like you said, it's been a while. I think the last time we've spoken, it's been like 3 years around,
Yes, it had
something
to
like
be
that.
pre-COVID for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's awesome to catch up, and I'm very excited to be here.
Well, let's start with this. Your journey has been a winding one for sure. I'm excited to kind of hear a little bit about it, but you kind of started out in healthcare and then kind of took a left at Albuquerque, and really things got wild and crazy for you. So let's hear about it, man. Let's hear catch me up.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was studying to become a physical therapist. I got my bachelor's in exercise science, a music minor because I love that stuff. And I got to a very prestigious, Ivy League university. And I'm saying this for a reason, not just to make myself sound cool. But I got in, and my professors and we played this little game where they would give me a test and I barely pass. And they'd give me another test and I barely pass. And at some point, I must have passed a hidden level or something because they gave me a test and I failed. And they gave me a test and I failed. And eventually, I felt the tide rising above my head, and totally on me. Didn't know how to study. Maybe it was the wrong fit. The school was the wrong fit. But at some point, I just became disillusioned and failed straight out of the program. And 3 days later, I went to an event that we both went to, I believe, in 2019. And I joined a business mastermind with someone else's credit card. It was all legal, but that in itself was a story. And started a business in my parents' basement, reapplied, tried to get back into PT school, got reaccepted. And then a couple months later, I realized I didn't want to go back. So I rescinded my application to this very prestigious school, and decided, you know what? It's not working out for me in New York City. I'm going to move down to Florida with my twin brother in the beginning of 2020. Because what's going to happen in 2020, right? Who knows what would happen? And so I was crashing on my twin brother's couch, tried out 2 business ideas. They didn't work, or I didn't work at them long enough, maybe. And eventually I got an offer from an influencer in a certain gear-shaped community. You might know what I'm talking about. And the offer was to move to Idaho. So I moved to Idaho from Florida, again, in the middle of 2020, and lived in an Airbnb for 2 weeks eating peanut butter sandwiches and canned tuna. And I got offered a job doing ads and email marketing. So I worked there, and I did get an apartment eventually. And I worked there for about 15 months. And I left that job last December. And now here we are, 10 months later, with an email agency that's known as Wealthy Inbox, where we write them, we send them, we systemize them, and we keep them out of spam. So that way you don't lose any leads, prospects, and clients. And if we don't get you a result in 3 months, then we send you on a cruise. Yes, that's in the contract, and no, we haven't had to use it yet. So that's where I'm at right now. It has been a winding road. It's been absolutely nuts.
I love it though, man. Like I said, you got some really great opportunities. It took some bravery to step up and take those opportunities. But again, people see all these success stories, and they talk about, oh, he's so lucky, overnight success and blah, blah, blah. But like you said, it's not that at all, right? It's five to 10 years of working hard and trying things out and crafting your skill so that
Hmm.
when an opportunity presents itself, you have the right skill set to pounce on it and take action on it, and you did exactly that. And that's what I love about your journey, man. That's why I've been so excited to kind of catch up and like I said, to just, see what you're doing now and some of the people and experiences you've had, the opportunities you've had to work with. And it's just been awesome, man. So tell us a little bit now about email marketing in general, right? Email is a huge portion of things because our email list is like the one thing that we kind of own or control. Other platforms may come and go, they may suspend you, they may kick you out or whatever, but your email list is kind of your own personal, like, hey, this is something I built. It's people that are, important to me and the people I want to communicate with. So tell us a little bit about why people should consider, an email list or an email service like you offer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and this is a good question because I have mixed opinions about it. I think if you are just collecting emails for the sake of collecting emails to have a list and you don't email people consistently, you might as well not have one, because then you'll just turn into the guy or gal who sends out emails only when they need something. And that's not good. That's not good. People will know you for that, and it'll put you off, and they'll be put off, and they'll put you in spam and promo and stuff like that, because ISPs don't like that. And ISP, I mean Google, Outlook, and Yahoo, all of those. They don't like it when people are just kind of scammy and spammy like that. So if you are going to have an email list, go all the way. All right, weekly emails at the very least, at the very, very least. Uh, and the reason why it's a good idea, at least in my opinion, from what I've seen, is that when I used to run ads, emails beat ads every single time. It was such a profitable revenue channel for the business I used to work at. It was impossible to ignore. And now working with other people in their businesses and fixing their email systems and stuff like that, it's impossible to ignore that emails book calls, emails book sales. Like, it works. It really works. Now, will it be around forever? No, because nothing's around forever, right? But is it going to be around in some of these fight or flight platforms? Absolutely. So I think if you are willing to be serious about email marketing, it could be a huge, huge channel for revenue. And again, this is not speculation. This is what I've seen from doing the dark work, as you mentioned, for years and years and getting good at my craft.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I love the fact that you went from side gig, side hustle, trying things out to now full-time gig. That I love when that happens. I hope that that's something that, my listeners will do, and they'll start with a side business and grow it and grow it till it's too big to ignore. And then they have to go in full time. That's always the goal, right? That's the dream, I think. For me, it's a little different because I've got that, 9 to 5 that allows me to have the medical benefits that I need. So I've got
Mhm.
to kind of that's my playing field, right? That's my rules of engagement. I'm fine with that, but I know my limitations. I know about how many hours I need for that job and how many I can put toward my side business, and I'm totally cool with that. I
Good.
know what it is, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, anybody could really get into this if they put the time in and do the work, right? So, talk a little bit about, like, professors, students, new clinicians, right? Anybody even in the healthcare field that's looking to maybe get into offering email as a service, right? Copywriting, like you said, like reducing spam rate, all the things that come into an email service. You know, why should they look into this? Because it seems like, if they put in the work and learn some of this stuff, anybody could.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, I'm going to say this, and this might be a controversial thing to say, but most people shouldn't in the medical field, because in the medical field you learn, I mean, you're taught to learn everything. You have to learn everything. You have to know everything, and if you don't know everything, you don't get an A plus. If you don't get an A plus, the patient dies and you're just a horrible person. And I see doctors who have their own businesses, they can't let go. They have to know everything. They have to do everything. They have to be so good at this and so good at that. So if that's the kind of person you are, don't get into marketing, don't get into business. It's going to be more stress than it's worth. And I really mean that. I'm trying to save you here. So if you do want to get into copywriting, if you do want to get into, email deliverability and systems like that, you have to suck for a long enough time to get good. And that's it. I sucked at some point. Believe me, I sucked. I maybe got good like 2 days ago. That's what I believe. It takes time. So I think if you want to get into copywriting and you want to get into marketing, everything that's made you a clinician, you have to let go of, because emails aren't dissertations. If I can point out an intro paragraph, a thesis, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion, then book a call below, that email's way too freaking long. Most people, they have about 3 seconds of, hey, is this email worth it or not? Because they have 50 other emails asking for their attention as well. So you're going to have to be okay with the clinician by not explaining every little thing, by making the email about them, not about a musculoskeletal thing. Like, people don't care. People really don't care. And I remind myself that. In fact, I have that in every Word document I use. I have people don't care at the top of my email, because they really don't. So you got to learn to let go of that and let go of expectations and let go of being perfect. I mean, as a grad school dropout, I've learned that the hard way, but really you gotta let go of that stuff, man. That's why I see holding a lot of clinicians back, not just with email marketing, but just business in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm to the point now where I know things are important, but I'm not good at them, or I don't want to do them, so I outsource them, right? If I'm not going to take the time to sit there and learn the ins and outs and get good at it, I can recognize that, hey, it's still important, but I'm going to outsource it, right? My website, I don't know how to build a website. Could I, with WordPress and Wix and all these great programs now? Absolutely. I could sit there and learn it. Probably take me a couple weeks, but I'll figure it out. Do I want to? Should I? Not even close, right? My time could be better spent elsewhere, doing things that I'm good at, things that I love, and things that'll move my needle forward. So I'm just going to outsource that and pay somebody for it. I actually enjoy copywriting. Copywriting's been a huge part of my side business as of late. And a lot of that, I think, stems back to being an English major, right? Before I was a PT. So I don't know. But that being said, copywriting is a whole different language. I thought I was just going to be good at it, and I wasn't. I still had to learn. I read 6, 10 books, listened to a bunch of podcasts, still had to learn, take some courses on how to copyright. Again, another learning experience, right? But at the end of the day, I enjoy it. So I took the time to learn. Now, that being said, what are some tips, tricks, and pointers and things you've learned along the way that somebody looking to get into email marketing and email copywriting and stuff like that might benefit from?
Sure. So if it's just email copywriting and not like email deliverability and stuff, because that's another dragon.
Right.
But if it's the dragon of copywriting, if I could boil it down to one sentence, you have to know what they want, not what you want. All right. Stop talking about the product and listen to the customer. The customer will tell you what they want. So the biggest part, and maybe this is where being in any type of medical program is good. The biggest part for me when it comes to copywriting is the research. The research takes days. I am scouring the internet for, if I recently wrote copy for a PT clinic, and I scoured the internet and all their reviews, and I read through all of them to make sure what are these patients struggling with? What are these people? What are their problems? Where is the pain? And trying to convey that in an email. So the research is strenuous, but going back to my original point, that helps you determine what the customer wants. So that's it. All the little copy tricks and stuff like that, that's not as important.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, we're selling, right? No matter what it is, if it's a product, if it's a service, if it's a plan of care, if whatever it is, we're trying to get buy-in, right? We're trying to sell something. And copywriting, I like to kind of look at it as a technique that helps people make better, more well-informed decisions, right?
Exactly.
In order to do that, we got to give them what they want. Like, hey, here's the thing that'll help you make the decision to get what you want. Right. So you've got to show them how your thing gets them to that point, how it pushes them away from that pain point. Right. Like it's interesting because, again, if we kind of go to some of the literature out there, like predictably irrational, right? Like we make decisions to purchase very irrationally, even though we know logically this is how it should go. Right. And we don't stick to that logic. So humans are crazy beast up in here, so it's interesting to kind of figure out what's gonna connect with them, what's gonna to educate them in a way that I can show them this is what they need. And again, sometimes what they need, but it's not what they want. So you've got to give
Yep.
them what they want and then somehow give them what that they need in that
Mhm.
back end.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
well, David, I can't thank you enough, man, for coming on and for just kind of educating my audience about all things emailing and copywriting and marketing. Where can people reach out to you or find you if they have more questions or follow up or just want to see what you're doing these days?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on Facebook uh, at David Cartolano. And I know that the last name is a mouthful, so I'll spell it Cartolano. You can tell it's very Italian like myself. So you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can go to wealthyinbox.com, and hopefully by the end of this podcast, the website will actually be up. But hey, it's under construction because, like you said, it ain't my job to build websites. So I'm not learning. So I got to find somebody to do it. So that's where you can find me. And yeah, you're welcome to shoot me a DM. I don't bite. I'm not intimidating. So that's where they can find me.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll put all those links in the show notes, make it easy for everybody to find that Italian last name of yours. Uh, David, always a pleasure, man. I really look forward to catching up with you again in the near future, see what you're up to these days.
Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.